up at the school.
So this is going to be getting to the dough or the bread with my former college teammate.
Hello.
I'm a kid. Temper, Mr. Dre, Mr. NWA, Mr. AK, coming straight out of Compton. Y'all better make way. How the fuck you gonna tell this man not to be violent? Cause he don't need to go the same route that I went. Been there, done that. Ah, fuck it. Shoot them both, Grady. Where's your gun at? Birdwood Court. Hear the birds. Brr. We are headed to meet old college teammate Brendan Schmitty. We're about to get to the bread. My car is dirty as all knows. 109, I think. Fuma. We call him Schmitty. Brendan Schmidt. And I told him I wanted to do one of my free agent marketing specials with him because I tend to look at all my old teammates or past relationships pages, and if I see they're doing something that intrigues me, I usually ask about it or let them know. So Smitty here makes these wonderful breads. This is sourdough, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's traditional sourdough, which is the first way of making bread. Thousands of years ago.
that's what makes it traditional.
Yeah, because it's literally the way bread was made for thousands of years until like 100 years ago, which is a slow fermenting sourdough, and this is it. It just takes longer. It's really the only reason that we got away from it.
Takes longer to prep and prepare, or
Yeah, it takes longer to ferment. It takes about twice to 3 times as long. When you use regular yeast that you get from the store, which is called a dry active yeast, it takes, you could start and finish within, 5 hours.
Okay.
With this, these have been fermenting for 24 hours.
Oh, so it's just the prepping process of the dough.
Yeah, and
okay.
there's a lot more variable. And these, it just takes a lot more time and patience.
Yep.
But because the advantage, for one, is taste. These create incredible taste. But the other thing is the health benefit, is because flour is a grain, and grain is a seed, right? A seed is supposed to pass through an animal so that it can be transplanted. That's the way seeds spread themselves, through animals' guts, So seeds are designed to not be digested.
Okay.
Right? So in order for them to be digested well, they need to be pre-digested by fungus.
This is why it's hard for me to get into health, because if seeds are supposed to pass through you, like, why would I want chia seeds in a shake or a drink?
Well, some seeds they'll break up before they put them in.
Okay.
And if you have them in a shake, it's being blended up. So some seeds are a little different in that way. But like flaxseed, that's a great seed to chai seed.
See, I've never been a health buff, but being in the locker room, there's always guys that oh, try this, try that, and the seeds and all that is something that always been getting big.
Yeah, no.
So how did you get into this, or when did you start saying, hey, I want to start doing this, or who'd you first see do this that kind of intrigued you to want to start?
I watched, it all started when I saw a documentary by Michael Pollan, who's a food writer, on Netflix called Cooked. And it was a 4-part series, and one of the parts was on bread called Air. And they focused on a baker up in Vermont who does bread this way, and they kind of just pointed out all the health benefits and why bread is not really healthy anymore. And the reason is because we don't ferment it with wild yeast. We use commercial yeast. And from that point on, I was like, man, I want bread that's good for me and tastes good. And you can't, in our city, you can't buy this, but it's coming back in like San Francisco and like the West Coast and in Vermont and other places. And in Europe, they're going back to the old ways. They're kind of ditching.
So you're getting ahead of the curve.
A little bit.
And with Charlottesville, I mean, we have all these great farmers markets and stuff. I'm sure could work something out to get some stuff in there.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right here?
So to create the design on the outside, we just kind of covered it in flour, add some water so the flour sticks.
So unprofessional. Scam likely.
I know. I don't answer any numbers that I don't recognize.
No, look, that's what it says now. Scam likely.
Oh, really?
How great is that?
Did you change that on your phone?
No, it's just I think T-Mobile or whatever carrier I have. It's just if it's like a known if it's like a known telemarketer,
It'll pick up on that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't stand this stuff. I'm gonna break out a fresh blade. And when that timer goes off, we're gonna put them in the oven because it's preheating right now.
Oh, okay.
And
So it's just like a timing thing.
which part?
Just, are you trying to like do this design and be designed in the next 11 minutes?
I gotta do it in 11 minutes.
11 minutes so that essentially you can get them in right when the oven's right when it hits.
Yeah, well also when you start cutting into these, they have this thing called, to create this shape that we've created, you have to create this thing called surface tension. And it's basically like wrapping itself within itself.
Okay.
And so that way it holds. Because if you didn't do that, it would just go flat like a pancake. So the shaping, which I did last night, is really important for that. So when we cut into that kind of skin, if you waited too long, it would start to spread too far. So you want it to be pretty close to when you put it in. So for design,
And are you an artist?
no, but this is kind of fun because it's pretty simple. Let's see, for design, let's go with, I've been doing leaves lately.
Okay.
So let's go with some leaves.
So when all the cooking shows and cooking networks start hitting you up, just want you
Know where it all started?
just want you to remember me, man. All right?
I don't know if they're...
Free agent marketing.
Okay.
Stay-at-home dad who makes bread. I mean, you got a great story.
There is a story.
Former collegiate athlete of the basketball national champions for about 350 something days left that everyone needs to call us the champs.
That's right.
Hopefully Bronco could get us there one day. It'll be pretty awesome.
I think he might.
I think so too. I like Bronco.
He's a serious businessman.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
which is very, very good. Because life is a business.
Yeah. But see,
this is impressive, dude.
We're just making simple designs.
Yeah, simple, whatever, man.
Okay, I kind of messed up. It's alright, we got two main ones here. And then see the way that it balloons up. So if you don't cut into it, it'll wreck your shape.
Oh.
So things you drew it. So you kind of.
You're kind of putting like natural, so like breathing spots, I guess.
Yeah, I'm telling it to blow up here instead of breaking apart there. And for this one, we'll go with some grain.
What's grain?
So let's do something like that. So just like a wheat, like the wheat flour.
Yeah.
Comrades made.
So making sourdough, this I'm always thinking about the bread, pun intended. But money-wise, like to make sourdough, is it fairly expensive? This looks expensive. I don't know why. I don't know a lot about
No,
that, but
it's very inexpensive. I mean,
time consuming then.
it is very time consuming.
Okay, so that's where the cost.
That's where your cost is.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And again, that's why people went to, after thousands of years, they went to dry active yeast. Seems such like a great thing because you could do all of this
So you think
in about a third of the time.
So you're basically saying us as humans, we are sacrificing
Yeah, we're
our
sacrificing
health for time,
exactly. In this case,
i.e. fast food.
I eat fast food.
So you're trying to, I mean, this is something too that, I mean, you can't buy this pre-made, but that's the thing that you don't know either. How can you trust, even if you get like pre-made dough, to know that the stuff that is unhealthy isn't in there? For someone like me, who's probably not gonna do the proper research.
Well, it's you can bet that every place, unless they say differently, is using dry active yeast, which is fine. You know, even
When you say fine, that sounds like it's not. That is not fine. Okay, what would be the best? Let's just talk about the best stuff.
So one of my biggest influences, this guy out of San Francisco called Tartine Bakery. Mm-hmm. His name's Chad Robertson. Him and his wife are bakers, and their whole bakery is like probably the most popular of these kind of bakeries in the world. And he's written 3 books, and it's all about this. It's all about going back to the way we used to make bread. And I don't even know why I started talking about it, but he's probably the biggest influencer as far as this movement goes. These things turn out great. Yeah, and that's it, pretty much.
So how much do like loaves of like sourdough usually like cost like in a bakery? Like what? Like probably like $5, $5, $6.
Like at Chad's place, Tartine, it's actually because they find ways to make it cheaper by bringing in their own grains and stuff.
Okay.
They sell theirs for about I think $10 a loaf.
Okay.
Which is not that bad for what it is, for like being the best. A place in Richmond called Sub Rosa does this. And
wait. So this, how much dough? This is a lot more than what's in this bowl, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just an experiment.
Yeah. And that's just like a normal. Oh yeah, and the size of the bread. I mean, that's gonna grow pretty big though.
Yeah, no, you can get this for loaf like this or double. I would say double. That'd be about $10.
Yeah.
Like a 1 kilo loaf. This is probably about 600 grams. So 1 kilo is 1,000 grams.
Hey, no, none of that talk.
In case some of us need that calculation. Yeah, so bread is. I eat about six of these a week between my family. So most of it gets eaten. But the thing is, it's really quite easy to do at home. And the fact that you can't really buy it makes it even more of a reason to do it at home.
For sure.
But it's taken me about 5 years to get to this point.
And lucky for your kids, I mean, during their nap time, they get to smell freshly baked bread.
Yeah, man.
I feel like that'd be a pretty awesome wake up after my daily nap.
True. So we got 3 minutes.
Beating the clock, man. This is so impressive to me.
Thanks, man. Glad someone enjoys it.
So I have one of my friends who she went to school. When I went back to graduate after like leaving early,
Yeah.
she now owns. She bought like as a business venture. I think it's called. Dang, I'm so bad for saying this. Papados,
Where is that?
Mechanicsville, right outside of Richmond.
Okay.
And I believe it's a donut shop. And I showed her this, and she's like, "What is that?" And she's like, "Does he make those like to sell?" Like, because she makes their donuts are really, really good. But she was like, it's a company that literally, just like you're saying, it's your time. Mm-hmm. It's having time. She tells me that she has to wake up every day like around like 4:30 to get there, and because all the stuff that she does like with the dough and just it's really the prep and just like you said, like the timing of things where it's an easy way to make money, but it's more the organization of like your structure of the business.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm only at a small scale at this point, but pumping out.
You're gonna be big scale after this video, so you better get ready.
Alright, so we cook them in cast iron pans.
Oh.
Because it contains all the moisture. If you had a really fancy oven that like injected.
No. We're gonna keep it real. Everyone doesn't have that, all right?
No one has that.
Exactly. So this is better, because I'm not gonna lie. I definitely thought that like you had some sort of fancy stove, and I'm happy to see that you don't, because this is something that maybe I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll try and impress my wife one day. Babe, I'm making some bread for us. You always make bread. No, bread. Oh, you put it right on there. Oh no, you're gonna pull those off, or no? You're gonna leave the.
I'm gonna cover them and then we're popping back in the oven.
Oh, I'm talking about the. Oh yeah. So you just leave the.
Yes.
What kind of paper is that? That's not wax paper. That's parchment paper, correct?
Yeah, exactly, parchment.
Yeah. I know about the parchment.
Baker's best friend.
Baker's best friend.
Put them on the top shelf.
Top shelf. And what's the oven preheated to?
I have it at 490.
Oh yeah, you can feel the heat.
I have it at 490, and we go 10 minutes with it covered at that, and then we drop the temp by 50 degrees after 10 minutes for 20, and then you drop it another 50 degrees for another 20 minutes uncovered so that it crusts up. That's when you can get you be able to see it and stuff.
And we're gonna be back.
Normally the crumb comes out really holy. This was a different kind of loaf.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like there's usually bigger holes, but
I don't know if you said this, and I should have been listening. This is really good. Where does this bread start? Like historically, isn't like Portuguese, Egypt?
I mean this is
Like when you go to a bakery, like isn't Portuguese bread kind of like this?
so it all depends. Every place in the world has their own kind of bread.
Because when I was younger, my mom, like, she used to buy this bread and like make like our lunch sandwiches on it, and I still do it now.
Yeah.
And it's like the bread that, like the sandwiches that get bigger and then they got to get smaller and smaller because the way you have to cut them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's true.
but it's something where I don't know what it is, but this is really, really good.
Nice.
So this is what you just put in the oven? This is like the same type or
It's
different?
the one in the oven's gonna come out a little different.
Okay.
Should. So for this big, we're doing.
Ooh, white water.
Grams of white flour, 300 grams of white wheat, 20 grams of salt, and so it's kind of
Malta.
It's kind of cool about bakers is if there's 1,000 grams of flour, so you can base everything off of percentages. So 2% salt, 30% that flour, 70% that flour, and your water. No, water's not. It's a starter. Your water is the biggest thing you want to focus on. So like we're gonna go with this one. Let's do 80%. 80% water. So that's gonna be what? What's 80% of 1,000? 800. This is a class. You didn't know this? So that's 25%. 1.5%. Yes. Okay. So yeah, that's what's kind of fun about baker's math is that you do it off percentages and you can adjust it. It takes a while to figure out, but.
Where'd you go to college? Wahoo wah.
Wow.
Hi. How are you?
This is Pippa.
Pippa. Hi, Pippa.
I'm 4.
You're 4? Nice to meet you.
That's actually slowly.
Just ask him. He's taking a nap. Huh? What did she say? Brody?
Brody, yeah.
Oh. Sorry, Brody.
And I'm allergic to dogs.
You are. Why Brody doesn't go upstairs?
He stays down here.
That's white.
Because I like cats, but cats like to bite you and scratch you, right? Like
Yeah,
that.
we're not a cat family.
Bread and dogs. I have 2 dogs.
You do? Bigger or small?
Very tiny. They're my wife's dogs. Very, very small. Megabyte and Lunabyte.
So, I'll give you the numbers. Oops. Oh, good. So I'll just tear it. We're at about 250 grams of starter.
Daddy?
What's up, Pip?
I'm hungry.
You are? Like some bread and butter? Okay.
Never
Never mind if you did. Alright, so I'm gonna put in 750. We're gonna put in 50 grams less than what we need because we're gonna add the salt a little bit later. Because the salt, once the salt hits, it changes everything. Bingo. And then we mix it up. So this is create a liquid leaven.
You know what I'm just realizing?
What?
You were either born for this or you were ready for this. You got this all, all set up.
Yeah, man. It's a
No, this is awesome, man. No, it definitely is a process.
It is. It can be simpler than this, which is what I've seen a lot of people try, but you often won't get a result that you're happy with.
Just like anything else in life, man.
Yeah,
If
totally.
you take a shortcut, you're going to get shortcut results.
That's right. A little over, but that's all right. Actually, yeah, like I had a friend down the street who tried a recipe from the New York Times like this. I gave him some of the starter, and
Whoa, wait.
no, he's
I'm
not from the New York Times.
No, but I'm from New York though. Like, so what do you? So what do we? No, I don't know if I stand behind the New York Times or not.
No matter what, you're staying on the New York Times.
But you can't blame it on. It's whoever put the article in there. What if it was your recipe though?
The thing is about bread though,
Yeah.
is that like it takes a lot of trial and error. Like it just does. Like, and every single loaf, I'm learning something new about how to do it. And so it's just something that you have to just try and practice and fail, and then keep trying again.
What?
Yeah,
People don't like to hear the word fail.
I know. But that's what drives you to try it again. Is that like, out comes the oven like a flat as a pancake loaf of bread, and you're like, damn it! They just spend a whole day trying to make this thing. You know, it's super frustrating, but it's also what drives you to learn something new. Or
I'm not gonna lie. If that happens to me, like I'll probably be in the kitchen until literally one comes out where it's not flat.
yeah.
Daddy,
What's up, Pep?
you forgot my butter.
Oh, you're right. Come right up.
My butter CP. I would open this.
And a little bit of malt. And malt, I just know it increases the microbial activity. See those bubbles in there?
Is this what's in liquor?
Yeah, same
Oh,
thing.
it's dry malt.
Yeah, this is diastic malt.
So my wife is Dominican, and she gets like a drinking malt, like a drink, like Malta.
Oh, really?
It's fucking disgusting.
Really?
Excuse my language.
It's okay.
It's weird, but I noticed she does cook with it also
Yeah.
a lot, but I wonder if this is all the same stuff. What is malt?
I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, it's okay.
But it helps increase the activity. It's all about the fungi eating the flour and turning the starch into sugar. Mm-hmm. And when they do that, they fart basically.
Yep.
And
Air bubbles.
That's the air bubbles. And that's all bread is just captured air.
So bread is
It's just a bunch of fungi farts
fungi farts.
in a balloon that you eat. Yeah, now we're gonna add the white. We go with all-purpose because the bread flour, the stronger bread flour is called bread flour because it's a higher percentage of gluten in it.
Yep.
So it makes it stronger, but it also affects the taste. So like something with more gluten is gonna hold better, but it's gonna taste like rubbery. So with this soft all-purpose flour, it creates a really soft crumb. And the crumb is the inside that all the bubbles that happen in the inside of the bread. Almost there.
Look at the gas pump.
Yeah. What's cool though about the scales that you can get it exact. If you don't have a scale, there's way too much room for error. And that scale was like $13 on Amazon.
So no eyeballing. What about, I see people like on the cooking shows just throw stuff, their eyeball, you can't do it.
You want to butter your toast? Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying, Nate?
So when I watch these cooking shows, well, after a while, how long have you been doing this? At some point, do you think you'll just be able to not use the scale and just, hey, like kind of feel it out and know?
No.
No. Is that just you, or I feel like when I'm watching cooking shows, I never see them pull out. I mean, maybe like I don't watch them a lot, so I'm not gonna lie.
You know, there's very few like bread making cooking shows.
Oh.
I don't know if there are any.
So you're saying we're tapping a market, a potential market?
But bread is one of those things that there's don't use that one. Put off.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll get you a butter knife. Use this one?
No one for you.
Don't mind if I do. No, that's enough butter. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, like cooking shows, it's all about, I can't think of one like bread making show. There's like cake baking shows.
Get into the bread with Schmitty. Oh yeah, there are cake baking. You think cake is more sexier than bread, maybe?
Not really. Depends on your definition of sexy.
Because a lot of times in those shows, those cakes are cool, but they don't look like sexy, like appealing to eating wise.
I know.
Like,
A house or something.
it kind of disappoints me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like they're cooking, even though I know it's not that. When they're cooking with that stuff, it reminds me of the pool noodles, like that foam. I don't know why. But this looks like it's your forearms get strong from this?
Yeah, man. So that's all, you're just mixing it so that it's all, so it can hydrate. And we're gonna do this thing called an obelisk, where you just let it sit for,
Odalise.
It's what's happening, like, it's not adding
Bing! I have the editor just put a definition
Okay.
of that word.
So we're just gonna stick this in the fridge, and then it's just gonna sit. And then I'll pull that out later tonight and start to turn it.
Yep.
Add the salt, and then I'll add some rosemary too. Some fresh rosemary, like this, like these loaves, and then I follow.
Where do you get fresh rosemary from?
From
Are you-
friends around
Ooh.
who have rosemary bushes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So are you like a farmer's market type of guy?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, for sure. But
Maybe we need to start a garden and like somewhere,
yeah.
and ask one of our friends like who have like a little bit of land, and we can start growing like just a couple of.
Couple of things.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about, have you ever, like, because I was tempted to get into, they do like the buy shares.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
Like what?
CSA. It's
Who's CSA?
you talking about like a beef share
Yeah, but like for just
for vegetables.
vegetables
Yeah.
and fruits and actually for flowers.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
Flowers.
the one it's a nursery and they have or is it like whatever is near Ivy Nursery? I think Conrad was telling me about it, but like it's a package that you can get fruits, vegetables, and then you also have access to
Flowers.
certain flowers. Like
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of great CSAs around.
I honestly never heard about it until Conrad had mentioned it to me, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and just working on the farm, just thinking about different ways, and now that the farm is they're doing bees now.
What farm?
The turkey farm,
What turkey farm?
in Crozet.
What turkey farm?
So it's,
This
I
is
can't
this is
think
a
of-
farm that you're affiliated with, or?
yeah, you never seen, so I kill turkeys for Thanksgiving season.
Do you raise them, or
They're,
you just kill them and
yeah, so like
that's
they'll,
the wild game?
no, they're free range.
Okay.
Yeah, in Crozet. So it's Kelly Braun's. It's a franchise from London that started, and by like I think the man's name is Paul Kelly, and then something that's been in their family. Most it's the turkey that they serve to the Queen every year, like for Christmas. Yeah, and it's bronze, and like it's hand plucked. It's a whole. But yeah, for contracting, I provided him for the past 2 years with workers, because it's basically an assembly line.
Yeah.
We shock them, dip them in
So
paraffin.
like labor force kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's hand plucked. Like we dip them in paraffin, and literally every turkey is
Yeah.
stripped. We do about the past 2 years. We did about first year I think 2,800, and this past year we did about like 3,200 turkeys.
Really?
Yeah,
We're 200.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But like, yeah, I'll show you some videos, like some big ones. Like he sells like $300 turkeys, $14 a pound.
Wow. But you know that's not too far off.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. I
No,
didn't
yeah.
realize they had the.
So they're not here. They're not here yet. And so like the eggs, they'll get flown in like a few months, and basically part of like the job is just keeping them alive.
Gotcha.
They have about 22 acres of.
And you have like you supply them with the labor for the farm?
Well, like, so like during, like, until, so basically turkey season, it'll start the week, it's the month.
Season is right now.
It's after. It's the Monday after, or right after, what is it called? Halloween. It's the last week of October and the first week of November is kill and pluck season. That's what he calls it. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
And it's a 2-week, potentially 5-day process that if everyone's kicking, like, you can get it done. You can get it done in about 3 days, like about 6 total days, because it's only like you try to get 1,000 turkeys a day, basically. Like when you do the whole process, and it's like a whole assembly line.
Were you out there watching it?
I was actually shocking and killing. Like I was part of it. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, so hands on everything.
Okay. What is the labor pool that you do? What is it called?
So unfortunately, I was working with another old teammate. Actually, not your old teammate because he's younger. But I had made my own transparent labor, and it was something where I had closed a contract under a different company, and it just didn't work out, like, with them. And I had built a relationship with the farmer where it was something for him that he was like, well, I'm going to do this with you, like, regardless of the situation with.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so, and since then, it's been good. But the funny thing was, I was doing freelance moving, like moving jobs.
Yeah.
And that's how I met the farmer originally. Like, we helped him move into, they were in Crozet while, like, their house was being built on the farm where the turkeys are.
Yeah.
And so when they actually moved into the house, I just happened to be on that particular job, like with the moving company I was doing extra stuff with. So that's how I got to meet him. And, like, there in passing, he had just said out loud, he's like, hey, if anyone needs work in a few months, I'm gonna have a lot of it, like, to make a lot more money than you guys are probably making now, in a short 2 weeks. And I think guys kind of, like, pass it off, and I was like, hey, I have workers and guys that like we do cleanings and move outs at the college. I was like, if you really need help, let me know. And I gave him my card, and rest is history.
That's awesome.
No, for sure.
And that's
the turkey season, like, and that's something too. Like, I'll show you some videos. It's crazy start to finish, but the turkeys, dude, so good.
Yeah.
So good. But the farm is dope too. Like, I'll definitely, we'll definitely go out there. We'll go out there for sure. Like, something too, like, you bring your kids. Yo, so the turkeys are protected. 3,000 turkeys protected by 2 llamas, bro.
By 2 llamas?
2 guardian llamas. You'll love it. I know you'll appreciate it.
That's super cool.
But they're mean. They're like, and the turkeys, like, the turkeys, they act like
that's their dad, or
like the dad and the mom. It's times that I have to look at, like, through my videos, that you look in the field and the mother llama be sitting down, and all the turkeys will be around her, like it's like story time, and the male llama will, like, just circle the pack.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very interesting.
I never knew that llamas were.
But here's the thing. He said he went through 13 different pairs of them because there's a special type guardian llamas that do it. Like, they stand, like, with their necks intersected, kind of like looking over each other's shoulders when they're doing certain stuff. Yeah, like, and he said, like, a bunch of people try to sell him, like, llamas that wouldn't, because he's like, there's a difference. And I was like, that's so crazy.
That is crazy.
Dude is a tech grad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Even though it's Wahoo season.
Are you into, like, pasture-raised poultry or anything like that? Besides pasture-raised turkeys? If you
can't say I am. I'm into.
Is that the first time having like a pasture-raised turkey? It was from those guys?
To be honest, I want to say, like, with me knowingly, Probably, but like I went to like the area I grew up in New York, and like where I went to school in Connecticut. I'm sure I've had like turkey like that, like at friends' houses and stuff where I was younger, maybe not asking about it.
Yeah.
Like where I don't want to be like, no, yeah.
You don't really know. You're not really looking for a difference.
Yeah, but I love turkey, and like my family is a family that like we love turkey, and it's funny because this turkey, like it changes your mind about stuff. Because for one, dude, the turkey takes, depending on the size of it, the turkey takes 90 minutes to cook, which is like unheard of for some people.
Oh. Tell me that. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yo.
Beautiful.
That is lit.
Oh, and it broke.
What broke?
Well, just the leaf.
Looks like a ninja star.
Tried
Can't even
to
tell.
keep it from doing that, but it doesn't always work. And now we'll just pop them back in to finish up. Leave this in here so that.
Cast iron.
Yeah, man. What's kind of cool is that you can cook a loaf of bread on the campfire like this.
I was just gonna say with so technically you could be cooking bread like
Anywhere, really.
how would crust come out like that? So the best place for my hometown is Michael's Pan Pizza, and they make pizza in those, dude. I've yet. So like you should try that. Like those are the pans that literally they use, and it's something about the crust. It's unbelievable. Like I'm thinking about it now.
Is it like buttery and kind of crispy on the outside? Like an oil, like a
bro, like it reminds like a little bit like it has a. I feel like if that piece of bread that you gave me, like it's that, but when you bite into it, that crunch, and when you get to the actual the crust and the top side of the crust, for whatever reason, like that dark part that you feel like it's part of the pan a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so good, dude. But it's literally like they only have, it's like a small bar, and they only have the small, like the biggest size you can get is kind of like maybe a pan a little bit bigger than the biggest one in there. So they're not like, you can't get like a huge pie, and it's so good. Just even thinking about it.
How thick is it?
They're thin ones. Yeah, this one's thin. This is in New York, but like the thick one, like the deep. I don't know if I really like deep dish.
I haven't really had I think it might have once, but it was so long ago. But it's a different experience.
Deep dishes, yeah, it's way different.
It's like super saucy, and it's less about the crust, I think, right?
Some of them are. It's like half and half, but it's the fact that it's really, really deep. And what you're saying too, kind of like the sweet, like that's what has it. But like you said, like I think for me, it's like the overwhelming of like the sauce and like the cheese. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Daddy,
Yes, ma'am.
Pippa's still hungry.
Pippa's still hungry? All right. Have some water, and then I'll make you some more bread.
I just had some more this morning.
Some more.
Okay.
Stay hydrated. Address these. I'm experimenting with I like to make smash burgers a lot.
Smash burgers?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just a burger that's, like Shake Shack.
Yep.
Or Five Guys. And I like to just experiment with making them smaller. Figure out the right temperatures and stuff.
Pippa finished her water.
She did? You notice how she speaks in third person like I used to? I used to say, call myself Schmitty all the time.
The Schmitty.
It's funny how your kids reflect. weird things in that chair. These are good. Small, medium, large. Ouch.
This guy.
Burned. Think I get burned a lot?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I
Cause do those work for the cast iron? You need something else for those.
yeah, this has been great. Get something rubber.
Daddy, Peppa still calling too. Because it's also little road.
What'd you say, sweetie?
Get over the water.
You get a cup. Sing song.
I did get a cup.
You did?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's a steak.
Oh, you drank some water. That's what you're telling me. Okay. Yeah, you get more bread.
I don't know how I will deal. I will like to get
Pip, what should we do on these loaves?
Halloween-yanas, birthday-yanas, and Christmas-yanas,
We'll do a stencil on this one.
and Easter-yanas. All of them, weekend, and Valentine's-yanas.
Sounds good.
All the weeks on the days, all the week on this, all the week, all the week.
I'll do that there. And touch. From that before. Might be cool on that.
No, stop it. Stop it. Okay.
This loaf is a higher hydration, means just more water percentage. So I'm kind of curious how it's gonna turn out. Viv, could you stop that, please? Ben is still sleeping. Thanks. Why did I do that?
I'm still hungry.
You are?
This is my cereal.
You got bread and butter in the oven, sweetie.
Daddy.
Please stop. You're making a lot of noise.
Eating back clean and I'm going back upstairs.
Oh, really?
That doesn't stink.
So we'll do a Virginia action inside the star.
Dad, the bread came up. The bread came up.
It did?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going back upstairs.
Okay. Alright.
I'm going to bed.
Go.
Were you good at perfection? You remember that game?
Was it perfection? What was perfection? I'm thinking
When
of
you have like the tweezers
I'm thinking of
Oh no, that's not perfection. Perfection is operation.
Operation.
Yeah, I
That's
said
what I
it
was
wrong.
thinking.
Perfection is that my sister used to crush me with that. That's like when you had to put the pieces in before it popped up.
Alright, let's see what we can do here. We're gonna go with. I'm trying to make this star stand up. So if you angle it like this versus this, it'll help it curl up like that, and then you can make some 3D image, which is cool. Tiptoe, sweetie.
So, with sourdough, is it like? Oh, you were saying it before. Does that can like? Let me figure out what I'm trying to say.
Take your time.
Me and my little cousins and my sister, we used to get in trouble. My grandmother used to make pound cakes,
Oh yeah.
and she would get mad if like you slam the door if you're running, because she's like, you're gonna make my yeast drop.
Yeah.
And I always wondered if that was just something that she would say to us.
Make your yeast dry out.
No, drop, like from
From yelling.
Or like slamming the door, running near.
You're gonna scare the yeast.
That like supposedly it won't rise. It won't rise the same way. Like if there's like vibrations or whatever.
That could be true. I haven't heard that. That's really interesting. Do some.
Andrea herbs. Look at this.
Just some bread.
Hey man, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna show you this Snapchat, and I feel like you ever struggle meals.
Struggle meals?
Yep.
What's that?
There's a guy. It's a like a Snapchat like blog like story.
Yeah.
And the dude, he'll show how to make like struggle meals with like everyday like stuff that you have in your kitchen if you have leftover. And this is definitely not a struggle meal, but it just gives me. I'm intrigued by his story all the time, and I feel like this is very, very intriguing to me.
Why the name struggle meals?
Meals under like $3, or how to like stretch certain meals.
Yeah,
like if you're in
yeah.
college, he did one that was dope, like on like how to do different things and make like ramen sexy with like no money, and just like little stuff like you don't think about, adding oil or different type of like mustard packets that you already have in your drawer.
Yeah.
So it's a good concept for sure.
You okay there, Pit?
Puzzle.
Puzzle?
They're making so many puzzles. Puzzle. Never one is first, Papa's. Dinosaur. Ah. Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Dinosaur.
that side down so it hugs there like that. Just your finger, just like that. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Can you do it to this side? Excellent.
What is this?
Sticking. That one with higher hydration, but
So
you
this
get,
one's flattened out since you.
yeah, but you get a much more, I would say, flavor. It's more about the texture of the crumb. It's a little more soft and tastier. Receivables right there. There's home. Right now we're just browning the crust, really. Just feeling it. See if it needs to harden up anymore. It's feeling pretty good. Just a couple more minutes. Jack, cap up. Next batch. Head, shoulders. Knees and toes.
Yeah, man. I was looking at some other stuff too. For you, like even if you get your phone, and I'll try to send you some of the sites I was looking at. Even doing kind of like time lapse and step-by-step stuff, dude. You can end up some of these like the sites. You can end up making a lot of money. Like whether it be King Arthur's, like you'll never have to buy this flour again, or whatever it may be. Like it's something. It's something where just thinking about that, and especially especially when you do this often, and like again, it's super intriguing, and then it's healthy and it's instructional, and
Where do
it looks.
what time lapse? Can I do that on my iPhone? Or is that?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, that's what I was saying. Even with a camera,
Stand, don't I?
I have stuff like that I can show you.
Like I'm constantly using my hands, so I can't really.
Yeah, and you just got to get something that you can stick on there or stick on somewhere to get like a point of view.
Yeah.
Because it can even be like, even if it's hanging like in a sense over you, so it's just like your hands like looking down at the whole table. But it's something where I'm gonna like some of the people I get help with for editing, because there's probably someone who that's all they do is like time lapse and instructional cooking style videos.
Yeah.
But they'll just know how to chop things up to make it like look real nice.
I gotcha.
But it's stuff that like, what do you look at? Because I always tell people too, like, what kind of stuff intrigues you, like, as like now, like if you're like, oh, I want a new design. Because even taking pictures of this, like, I feel like your bread page could be like an unbelievable Pinterest page for sure.
Yeah. What I like, but you're right. That's what I'm thinking about too. Is that like, all right, who else is doing this, and does it seem worthwhile for them? You know, like what they're doing, like.
Stop it.
But I think probably my first like hesitation with doing anything is like I guess thinking that like you're just that the market is saturated.
Okay.
Like if I'm looking at this stuff, like why would someone look at my stuff versus someone else's stuff? You know, like there's plenty of stuff out there. But
because you're a stay-at-home dad and you could show that it's something that you're doing during your kid's nap time, like where it seems like it's somewhat therapeutic from my view. I don't know if that's true for you, but
you think wrapping it in like the story of it helps?
I mean, I think that is an added bonus, and I feel like that's where once this part is taken out of it and what you clearly have down packed, it's what's more, I guess. Because just like you're saying, what's having anyone watch like a cooking show, like at the end of the day, if you know Rachel Ray can cook, like everything else is just kind of like an added bonus if people like you or if people don't like you. Like, you know what I mean? Because the chef, the dude that does the show where he just shits on everyone's food, it's something where people love that.
Right.
But if you're a good chef, like at the end of the day, like whatever you're doing, like it has to be somewhat, I feel, decent.
Right. Because why else would anyone? That's really where it matters first.
Yeah. And this is something too where, I don't know, I feel like this is hard. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't know.
This is hard.
You think, I mean, this is not something I look at. You think is bakers, is that like a majority male or female? Would you consider yourself, is this baking, like when you're doing stuff with dough, is that considered a baker? I wonder what the real definition of a baker is.
Yeah, no, this is baking and...
Because baking and cooking, like what?
You
like,
basically have two types of bakers. You have a pastry baker and a bread baker. And, well then you have, cakes falls into pastry too. But there really aren't many bakeries around these days, you know? There are more,
so baking, so like muffins, like does muffins go into, because one day,
muffin is still a pastry.
I was sending sneakers off one day at the post office.
Yeah.
And I held the door for a lady, and she's bringing boxes of stuff in on the way in, and then she was finished, and then when I was leaving, she was coming back in. I ended up holding the door for her again with a handful of stuff. She had to go back to her car to get more, and I'm like, what are you selling? And it was muffins.
Really?
And I was like, muffins that she was telling me that she does out of her kitchen.
Cool. He's got it ready.
Oh, wow. Get into the bread. These designs come out really sweet. Yeah. So I imagine if you mess this up, when you cut in, it's just gonna be goo. Is that what happens to bread, or or just be nothing in there? Would it ever be something where it's like?
There's a lot of ways you can mess it up. Like it'll tell you if you messed up.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, no. Sometimes you cut into them and I imagine like at some point, or at, like if you mess up, like maybe it's not filling inside, it's just like crust, it's just like an egg. Like, because if the stuff inside doesn't, I don't know. There's lots of ways you can mess up in this, which is why it's so hard. Is that like there's a lot of different things going on. So you just practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice. Pip, did you want some more bread? I mean, some more bread and butter? You two days?
Sure.
I don't want to.
You don't want some, Pip?
No. I don't know.
I wish I had something to drink. Not a beer. Taking water?
Yeah, I'll take water. It's fine.
Sure.
Oh.
There's just stuff I haven't tried before.
Brody, stop it! Brody. Just stay on my phone.
Oh, sorry. No, but what I oh, sorry.
Gather, set up.
But only if you can pick up the day of tomorrow. Someone's going to look at it the day after that.
Get go.
You know what I've been selling crazy amounts of? Is on Facebook Marketplace.
Ah,
You ever get on there?
dude, I'm the ultimate barter guy. Yeah, like I like Facebook Marketplace gets weird sometimes, but I'm big on eBay
I feel like it's
and
less weird than Craigslist, though.
oh, I never use
I
Craigslist.
used to use Craigslist all the time.
I think no, I definitely agree with you with that. Craigslist, I don't know why. Like Craigslist just scares me. It scares me.
So many scammers on Craigslist.
Yeah, but like even dealing with the sneakers, dude, I've been scammed so much, and it's kind of something that
People just
you
not.
kind of like.
How can you get scammed with the sneakers?
You
You mean buying sneakers or selling them?
both?
Really?
Yeah, there's people, unfortunately, who are good on both sides of the spectrum. Like whether it be an actual like bootleg shoe that like looks where it's someone that got taken advantage of and they didn't know it was fake and they spent money on it,
So they're
and then they reset.
pass it on.
Well, it's sometimes you either don't know or you do know, and then you're so upset because you can't do anything about it. It's just like your first instinct is, okay, well, someone else has to take this loss, so I'm just gonna sell it to someone else.
Right.
But it's yeah. But in the sneaker world, it's a bad trickle down effect.
It happens a lot.
I would say it does. I don't know how much, but yeah. Last year, 3 guys got arrested. They had like a container, and it was worth street value $750,000, close to, or like $1 million for like a few thousand pair of shoes.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because they have big operations, like they send it through customs a certain way, and then it gets here, and then it's just like you have people who are good with stitching and doing different types of things, just finish off little details.
Oh, really?
That keeps it from being like, if it gets stuck at customs, copyright infringement, or a company being like, this is ours, and be like, oh, no, it's not. And they'll either add something or take off something to make it more look, so like make the bootleg look a little bit better. It sucks like when it happens to you and you're just like, yo. But I definitely have, in sneaker world they call them bricks or sneakers. No, I don't know if you call fakes bricks, but they are. Like if you can't sell them, they just end up being like bricks, like just there. And I have fake ones like in my, like yeah, from something where I went in on someone and the person they were getting it from got over on them. And it was like I was a part of it, and so I ordered some shoes, and I get 4 or 5 pair of shoes that are completely not real.
Really?
Yeah.
Ouch. Burn myself again.
Sky.
Because this guy put it in the more round one, because it'll shape it a little better. Make it go less out, more up. cast iron. They get super hot.
Yeah. I can tell. It's gotta be the best way to cook.
It is. Cast iron is.
I feel like all the original stuff is the best way to cook.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. That's often what I'm always looking at is. See,
What did?
Well, yeah. What have we lost?
Exactly.
You know, going back to go forward kind of idea.
Daddy, come see.
Oh,
What you got? Oh, you did your puzzle? Oh, sweet.
that's really awesome.
Dinosaur. Stinky.
Oh,
Stinky dinosaur.
what's your favorite dinosaur? All of them?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good answer.
I am both of them. Let's see.
Alright.
Dinosaur.
Gonna crack into this?
Yeah. Cause what time? Actually,
Silly.
yeah, cause I gotta go soon. I got my yeah, doing a little workout. One of the kids that like, I do marketing for a 16-year-old, two 16-year-olds that they do music.
Yeah.
And one of the kids, he wants to start working out. So I told him, because I already told him, I was like, you can work out with me, but I told him, I'm like, yo, like, don't come just to like be like, oh, I work out or whatever. Like, really, like, I'm gonna try. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
is it different from than what you were having before?
Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. Dang, and I forgot to bring it.
We gotta taste this. What?
So in high school, I was part of a club, F Shadowak Club, and it stood for the future stepdads
Of America.
of America.
That's so funny.
And this is lit. This is lit.
It's tough to cut when it comes right out. What you do is you let it sit for
Yeah.
about a day uncovered.
A day.
Yeah. And then the skin cures, dries out on the outside, but the inside is nice and moist. And then it's a lot easier,
Oh.
it's a lot easier to cut.
So if you got trusted bakers, if it takes a day to do that, you just need people to prep it. Is it? Oh, so can people buy already prepped, like pre-made, like balls? I've seen people do it at the pizza store, like go and ask and like, you know, like pay for some of theirs. Is that kind of like, but that's the dough you're talking about that might not be that good, depending on.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I'd have to look closer. That's for you.
Oh, it feels.
Alright, I'm breaking my fast right now.
Dude. I need a piece to take to my wife. This is
I'm
really good.
gonna give you a loaf to take.
Oh man. You're awesome, Smitty.
This concludes my 3-day fast.
Man, get into the bread. And my man Smitty. Appreciate you welcoming me into your home, man.
Yeah.
It's all you need.
I'm very impressed.
Bread and butter is.
Is this your bread and butter? Making bread and butter? Well,
Butter's my actual bread and butter.
that's awesome. My bread and butter is actually bread and butter. I love that.